Sunday evening, I was giving the Lenten mission out of St. Wenceslas, and following the talk and the reception, I got back here late that evening, kind of crashed on my couch and turned on the TV and thought I'd catch what was left of the Academy Awards. And so I turned it on and I was watching, and they had the Best Actor was on, and so they selected it, and it was Will Smith. And he got up and gave the most tearful Best Actor acceptance speech I'd ever heard. I thought, wow, this guy is crying and crying and crying. But I don't know why he's so emotional. It wasn't until after the whole thing was over that they replayed the slap, and I thought, oh. So there was something that went before the tears. Then how embarrassing for him to slap Chris Rock, and how embarrassing to be crying when he's accepting. And he is never going to live this down. You know, from now on, when you Google Will Smith slapped Chris Rock, cried, resigned from the Academy. And there are certain things that people do in their lives that haunt them forever. It's just, this is an embarrassment, this is a shame, because shame is that kind of public guilt that goes out there and you just can't ever get over it. All of us may have, some little memories that we wish would kind of go away, that nobody would know about anymore. But then you see your grade school classmates or your college classmates, and they say, remember that time? And I think, oh, no, don't remember that time. I don't want to remember. I was 18, and I had drank way too much. And we all have those kind of little embarrassing things from our past. Probably not as embarrassing as this woman had in the story today, where she gets dragged out in front of the entire town to have them all point at her. And besides that, her fear that she is going to maybe even die from this shame, because they want to enact the death penalty on her for her sin. It's kind of interesting. The church gives us those first and second readings today as a guide to what the gospel is about. So as I looked at them this week, I think, okay, what is the church trying to tell me here? What is the church trying to tell you when it puts that reading from Isaiah and that reading from Paul with this gospel? The Isaiah reading was during the Babylonian captivity. The people are off in a foreign land. They got there because they were not being faithful. So they're captured and put into a foreign land. And Isaiah is giving them God's word in the midst of living in that place, which probably was quite embarrassing, because here they are, they're captives in a foreign land. And then St. Paul is kind of reflecting on where he's come from in his writing, the joys and struggles. But interestingly, in both of them, both God speaking through Isaiah and St. Paul speaking to us, both of them say, don't remember the past. Normally, that's a big thing for church. We remember. But in both of them, they say, don't remember the past. God is doing something new here. God is bringing something fresh to our lives. And that's what Jesus brings to this woman who is so shame-filled and afraid. Same message to her. Does nobody condemn you? Nobody, sir. Nor do I. Go. Be free. Don't sin anymore. Start your life fresh and new. I think the church, too, might be trying to say something to us with this gospel. And that is, that lady who is caught is all of us. Because throughout the Old Testament, that faithfulness in a marriage relationship is the image that's used for the relationship between God and his people. So when Israel is being not worshiping the right God, then it's the prophets speak of Israel as being as an unfaithful spouse. So the woman in the gospel is us. Because most of us have been unfaithful to God. We have chosen other things as more important in our life than God is. And whenever we choose something over God, we are the unfaithful spouse. But even though we are the unfaithful spouse, even though we have failed God again and again and again, the message that Jesus gives us today is, don't remember your embarrassing past. Don't remember those sins against me. See, I am making something new. Go, sin no more. Come back to Jesus and start that relationship fresh. Don't let all those memories. It's like, Jesus, you would never love me if you thought about all the times of my unfaithfulness. No. He does love you. Right there. Right in the midst of our sin. And he's not afraid of it. In that scene, I think it's so loving when they're all pointing at her. It says that Jesus got down and wrote in the dirt. And a lot of times people try to figure out what he was writing in the dirt. I wonder if he didn't go down there simply to be close to her. Because she was probably laying on the ground in the midst of that crowd as they were picking up stones to throw at her. And he chose to get down next to her. And maybe what he wrote was something to her. Jesus makes something new. And what he makes new is you. You are the new thing Jesus is making. You are the new thing that our world wants to see. Freed of sin, full of love, embracing the kingdom. See, God makes all things new.